A New Earth is a spiritual guidebook written by Eckhart Tolle that focuses on the concept of ego and how it affects our lives. In the preface of the book, Tolle introduces the main themes of the book and invites readers to awaken to a new level of consciousness, which he believes is necessary for humanity's survival. According to Tolle, the current state of the world is marked by a collective dysfunction, which he refers to as the egoic mind. The ego is the false sense of self that we identify with and is the cause of much suffering and conflict in our lives. Tolle believes that the ego is the root cause of most of the world's problems, such as war, greed, and environmental destruction. Tolle suggests that to overcome the ego, we need to develop a new level of consciousness that he calls awakened consciousness. This new consciousness involves a shift from identifying with our thoughts and emotions to experiencing life directly in the present moment. Tolle believes that this shift in consciousness is essential for humanity's survival because it will lead to greater compassion, harmony, and peace in the world. To awaken to this new level of consciousness, Tolle suggests that we need to learn how to silence our minds and become more present in the moment. He offers various techniques such as mindfulness meditation, deep breathing, and body awareness exercises to help us achieve this state of awareness. Tolle emphasizes that this is not an easy process and that it requires a lot of practice and dedication. He also notes that it is not enough to simply read about these concepts, but we must actively apply them to our lives to experience their transformative power. Overall, the preface of A New Earth sets the stage for a profound exploration of the human psyche and the role that the ego plays in our lives. It invites readers to embark on a journey of self-discovery and offers practical tools to help them awaken to a new level of consciousness. Tolle's message is clear: by transcending our egos and awakening to a new level of consciousness, we can create a better world for ourselves and future generations. Chapter 1: The Flowering of Human Consciousness. In Chapter 1, Tolle begins by discussing the current state of human consciousness and how it has evolved throughout history. He explains that human consciousness has been largely ego-based, causing much suffering and conflict in the world. Tolle argues that the evolution of human consciousness is necessary for our survival as a species. He believes that we are currently in a critical moment in human history, where we must undergo a collective shift in consciousness to avoid self-destruction. According to Tolle, the current state of the world is marked by a widespread belief in the illusion of separateness. We identify with our thoughts, emotions, and physical bodies, which creates a sense of division between ourselves and others. This sense of separateness is the root cause of much of the conflict and suffering in the world. Tolle suggests that the key to transcending this illusion of separateness is to become more present in the moment. He argues that our minds are constantly active, thinking about the past or worrying about the future, which creates a sense of time-bound identity. By becoming more present, we can break free from this illusion of time-bound identity and experience a deeper sense of connection with ourselves and others. Tolle offers several practical tools to help us become more present, such as mindfulness meditation and deep breathing. He also emphasizes the importance of becoming aware of our thoughts and emotions and not identifying with them. The chapter concludes with a discussion of the pain body, which Tolle describes as the accumulated emotional pain that we carry with us from the past. He argues that the pain body is a major obstacle to awakening to a new level of consciousness and that we must learn to recognize and release it to achieve true freedom. Overall, Chapter 1 sets the stage for a deeper exploration of human consciousness and the role that it plays in creating a better world. Tolle emphasizes the importance of becoming more present and aware of our thoughts and emotions, as well as recognizing and releasing the pain body. The chapter offers valuable insights and practical tools for those seeking to awaken to a new level of consciousness. Before we continue, we would like to inform you that we release these summaries in audio format on Spotify before we release them on YouTube in video format, with subtitles. We have also created a goldmine of information which you can get exclusive access to by supporting us on Patreon. You get in-depth summaries plus scripts, usually twice the length of our YouTube content, a list of the top 20 key takeaways and exercises, summary requests, and more. Thank you for the support and don't forget to hit the like button. Chapter 2, Ego, the Current State of Humanity. Chapter 2 examines the concept of the ego and how it shapes the current state of humanity. Tola defines the ego as a false sense of self that arises from our identification with thoughts, emotions, and possessions. Tola argues that the ego is a survival mechanism that has evolved to help us navigate the world and ensure our survival. However, the ego has become distorted over time, leading to an overemphasis on individualism, materialism, and competition. This distortion has created a society that values possessions, power, and status over compassion, empathy, and understanding. Tola believes that the ego is the primary obstacle to the evolution of human consciousness. It creates a sense of separateness between ourselves and others, leading to conflict, violence, and suffering. Furthermore, the ego fuels our constant need for more, creating a never-ending cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. To overcome the ego, Tola suggests that we must become more aware of its workings and learn to disidentify from it. He advises us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment and to recognize that they do not define who we truly are. By doing so, we can begin to transcend our ego and live a more fulfilling life. Tola also offers practical tools for disidentifying from the ego. He suggests that we cultivate self-awareness, release attachment to possessions, and practice mindfulness and meditation to cultivate inner peace. These practices can help us disengage from the ego's endless desires and focus on what truly matters in life. In addition, Tola discusses the collective ego and its impact on societal conditioning. He explains that transcending the collective ego requires individual awakening and conscious action. By becoming more aware of our own ego and the societal conditioning that perpetuates it, we can begin to take conscious action towards creating a more compassionate and just society. Overall, Chapter 2 provides a thought-provoking analysis of the ego and its effects on humanity. Tola's insights into the workings of the ego and practical tools for disidentifying from it offer readers a path towards greater self-awareness and inner peace. Additionally, his emphasis on transcending the collective ego through conscious action highlights the importance of personal responsibility in creating a better world. In conclusion, Tola's analysis of the ego in Chapter 2 of A New Earth is a call to action for readers to become more aware of their ego and its effects on their lives and society as a whole. By transcending the ego, we can create a more compassionate and just world, one that values empathy, understanding, and human connection over material possessions and power. Chapter 3, The Core of Ego. Chapter 3 explores the core of the ego and how it operates in our lives. The ego is a mental construct that creates a sense of identity and separates us from others and from the present moment. It is not who we truly are but rather a projection of our conditioned mind. Tola explains that the ego is always seeking more power, more possessions, more attention, and more experiences. It seeks to define itself by external factors and compares itself to others to feel superior or inferior. The ego creates a sense of lack, always searching for something to fill the void. However, the ego is also a necessary part of our human experience. It enables us to function in the world and achieve our goals. The problem arises when we identify too strongly with the ego and believe it to be our true self. This identification creates suffering and separation from our inner essence. Tola encourages us to observe the ego without judgment or resistance. By becoming aware of our thoughts and emotions, we can detach from them and recognize them as temporary phenomena rather than who we are. This detachment allows us to tap into our true essence and experience inner peace and fulfillment. The chapter also delves into the concept of pain bodies, which are accumulated emotional pain from past experiences that reside in our psyche. These pain bodies are triggered by situations or people that remind us of past pain and can cause us to react in negative ways. By becoming aware of our pain bodies and the triggers that activate them, we can begin to heal and release the accumulated emotional pain. In conclusion, Chapter 3 sheds light on the nature of the ego and its impact on our lives. By observing and detaching from the ego, we can connect with our inner essence and experience true fulfillment. Understanding our pain bodies can also help us heal and release the emotional baggage that holds us back from living a peaceful and joyful life. Chapter 4, Role-Playing, The Many Faces of the Ego. In Chapter 4, Tola explores the concept of role-playing and the many faces of the ego. He argues that humans often play different roles in their lives, such as the victim, the perpetrator, or the rescuer, in order to reinforce their sense of self and maintain a sense of control over their lives. Tola explains that these roles are not our true selves, but rather masks we wear that have been constructed by the ego. These masks are often a result of our past experiences, conditioning, and beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. He suggests that by becoming aware of these roles and recognizing them for what they are, we can begin to disidentify from them and awaken to our true nature. This requires being present and fully engaged in the moment, rather than being lost in thoughts, emotions, and past or future concerns. Tola offers several practical tips for disidentifying from these roles, such as observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, being fully present in your interactions with others, and focusing on the present moment rather than dwelling on past or future events. He also stresses the importance of compassion and empathy towards others, recognizing that they too are playing roles that have been constructed by their egos. By developing a sense of empathy, we can learn to connect with others on a deeper level and break free from the cycle of ego-driven behaviors and reactions. Tola concludes the chapter by emphasizing that our true nature is not defined by the roles we play, but rather by our inner consciousness, which is beyond the realm of the ego. He encourages readers to focus on cultivating their inner consciousness, rather than getting lost in the endless cycle of role-playing and ego-driven behavior. Overall, Chapter 4 provides valuable insights into the many ways in which the ego manifests in our lives through role-playing, and offers practical tools for disidentifying from these roles and awakening to our true nature. Chapter 5, The Pain Body. In Chapter 5, Tola introduces the concept of the pain body, which he describes as an accumulation of emotional pain that lives within an individual's psyche. The pain body feeds on negativity, and when it is activated, it causes a person to react in ways that are harmful to themselves and those around them. Tola explains that the pain body is created through past experiences that were not fully processed and resolved at the time they occurred. The emotional pain associated with those experiences becomes trapped within the individual's psyche and remains there until it is triggered by something in the present. When the pain body is activated, it takes over the individual's thoughts and emotions, causing them to behave in ways that are out of character. Tola notes that many people are not aware of their pain body and the impact it has on their lives. He emphasizes the importance of becoming aware of this aspect of the psyche and learning to recognize when it is activated. This awareness can help an individual disidentify from the pain body and prevent it from taking over their thoughts and emotions. The author describes various ways in which the pain body can be activated, such as through criticism, conflict, and loss. He suggests that the most effective way to deal with the pain body is to bring conscious awareness to it when it is activated. This means observing the emotions and thoughts that arise without getting lost in them or identifying with them. Tola also suggests using mindfulness practices, such as meditation, to help disidentify from the pain body. In the chapter, Tola also discusses how the pain body can perpetuate itself through relationships. When two individuals with active pain bodies come together, their pain bodies can interact and reinforce each other, leading to more suffering. Tola suggests that individuals can break this cycle by becoming aware of their pain body and taking responsibility for their own emotional well-being. In summary, Chapter 5 introduces the concept of the pain body and how it can impact an individual's life. Tola emphasizes the importance of becoming aware of the pain body and learning to disidentify from it when it is activated. By doing so, individuals can break free from the cycle of suffering and cultivate more inner peace and happiness in their lives. Chapter 6, Breaking Free. In Chapter 6, Tola discusses ways to break free from the grip of the ego and live a more awakened life. He emphasizes the importance of presence and how it can help individuals become more conscious and free from the ego's hold. One way to break free from the ego is by recognizing that it is not who you truly are. The ego is a collection of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that have been conditioned by past experiences and cultural influences. Tola suggests that individuals can identify with their true self by connecting to their inner body, which is the source of their being. Another method of breaking free is by embracing the present moment. Tola explains that the present moment is the only moment that truly exists and that the ego is always seeking to escape it by dwelling in the past or anticipating the future. By being fully present in the moment, individuals can experience a sense of peace and connectedness that can help them overcome the ego's influence. Tola also discusses the importance of acceptance and surrender in breaking free from the ego. Acceptance involves acknowledging the present moment without judgment or resistance, while surrender involves letting go of the need to control outcomes and trusting in the flow of life. Finally, Tola emphasizes the role of conscious relationships in breaking free from the ego. He explains that the ego thrives on conflict and separation, but conscious relationships are built on a foundation of love and connection. By fostering conscious relationships, individuals can create a supportive environment that helps them break free from the ego's hold. In conclusion, Chapter 6 provides valuable insights into how individuals can break free from the ego's grip and live a more awakened life. By embracing presence, accepting and surrendering to the moment, and fostering conscious relationships, individuals can become more conscious and free from the ego's influence. Conclusion. In the conclusion of A New Earth, Eckhart Tolle emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment and transcending the ego to achieve inner peace and a more fulfilling life. He notes that while the human mind has the tendency to dwell on the past and worry about the future, true happiness can only be found in the present moment. Tolle also stresses the role of acceptance and surrender in the journey towards enlightenment. He explains that accepting the present moment without judgment or resistance allows one to transcend the ego and access a deeper level of consciousness. Surrendering to the present moment, on the other hand, means letting go of the need to control everything and trusting in the flow of life. The author also discusses the importance of connecting with nature as a means of finding inner peace and spiritual growth. By being present in nature and appreciating its beauty, we can reconnect with our true essence and become more attuned to the present moment. Finally, Tolle offers practical advice for incorporating these teachings into daily life. He suggests starting with small steps, such as becoming more aware of one's thoughts and emotions and practicing mindfulness meditation. He also notes that it is essential to surround oneself with positive and like-minded individuals to support and inspire personal growth. In conclusion, A New Earth offers a transformative perspective on the human experience and the potential for personal growth and spiritual evolution. By transcending the ego, living in the present moment, and embracing acceptance and surrender, one can achieve a deeper level of consciousness and experience a more fulfilling life.